Namaste, shalom, hello, hi everyone. How are you all doing today? I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Today we have a live, and it is about JD Vance, who is a vice president of the United States. He just recently mentioned something about freedom of speech, and that is something we're gonna cover today. Who is we? That is me, India. And I have a very, very dear friend with me, and that is Uzma from Global Perspectives. And she will be with me co hosting today. So let's jump right into it. So, yeah, welcome, Uzma.
Hello, India ji. How are you? Thank you so much for inviting me an introduction, introducing me. That's a very good topic today. It shows we're gonna talk about it. It's very very important. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, because he has enhanced the topic that is on my mind and has been on my mind for a very long time, and that is freedom of speech. Do we have freedom of speech in Europe? Because I myself, I'm in Scandinavia, and I have gone through multiple times where Facebook has stopped me from speaking from my heart. I'm not talking about something hateful, something discriminating, or in any way where you can say that I have went or I have gone out, outside in the tolerance of the speech. So it has bothered me when I was in the time of my political time on social media, how Facebook constantly put me, which I call Facebook jail, because they constantly stop me for 30 days, 7 days, 24 hours from writing my opinions as a political activist, and later on more. So I could see, and I can still sense that if you are not on their level of what they want you to be from another side of the political, if you are a nationalist, they will try to limit what you're saying, even though you have not said anything wrong. But because you are almost kind of on their most wanted list as somebody who's a nationalist who gives very direct comments, they will block you. And Muslims were just pushing the buttons, and Facebook like, oh, this is the person, block them. So this is what was happening. And JD Vance just recently, I think within 24 hours ago, if I'm not wrong, he spoke about freedom of speech. And that is why I am covering this news up today. And I have Uzma with me, and we will be discussing how we feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. He actually he's a vice president of USA. JD Vance. He gave the speech at the Monet. I think it's Monet Security Conference. And he actually said that European countries, especially the United Kingdom, for limiting free speech, you know, and that's right, because you know what they're doing. They are actually letting Muslim people talk, swear at the Jewish. We have watched the videos. How Muhammad Hijab was swearing at the Jewish, like, you dog, you black dog, and then swearing and stoning and so many things. But police, they're not doing anything. They're not you know catching them and then putting them to jail. No, they have given them a freedom. They have given them freedom. But Tommy Robinson, they're doing, they have actually put him in a jail, and very like isolated jail. And I think maybe I just saw somewhere it's affecting his mental health as well, like, because he's not allowed to see his wife, children, or no contact, nothing. So it's very bad, very very bad. So of course he is right when they're limiting the freedom of speech, and then just opening the freedom of speech for some certain religion people, religious, like Islamic people. And that's what happening. And then we can all see what's happening there. So Vance believes that stopping people from expressing their thoughts is a bigger threat actually than
Yeah,
challenges from other countries like Russia or China. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. There is a video I was trying to.
yeah. You should see the video what he says. Then we
Yes,
can
yes, yes.
go ahead.
Let me see here. And just about that the Muslims are getting more in the Europe freedom of speech rather than, let's take Israelis, like what is happening in Palestine. Like in the Europe, when they are doing demonstrations, I have seen that when the the Muslims go out and do the demonstrations, they are not being attacked. They are not being attacked by people, even though they have police escort and everything. But I've seen that if Israelis, they go out and do the demonstration, there's a risk of attack. And I will show you the video just in a moment. But let's get back to JD and his point. Then we'll come back to the other, just to show an example. Just a second. So that is from Sky News. JD Vance slams freedom in Europe in speech taking swipe at UK and other nations.
This conference, of course, to discuss security.
And as Uzma said, this is JD Vance speaks at Munich Security Conference.
And normally we mean threats to our external security. I see many great military leaders gathered here today. But while the Trump administration is very concerned with European security and believes that we can come to a reasonable settlement between Russia and Ukraine, and we also believe that it's important in the coming years for Europe to step up in a big way to provide for its own defense, the threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is...
Now, this is very interesting. Uzma, did you hear? He was not worried about the external,
Yeah,
people. He
yeah.
is
Russia
about,
or in China, he's not worried about that much. But he felt threat when he said European, they're not
yes,
allowing, for freedom of speech. That's
yes,
more threat. And we can
exactly.
understand why, because if that's what's happening in the UK and
Yeah,
in any other country, if they stop people to speak the truth and they have stopped the freedom of speech, I mean, the particular group of people or religion, um, they're gonna um, do whatever they want
exactly.
and take over the Western country and
the
Western society.
Exactly.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, no, no. It's okay. It's okay.
threat from within. The retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. Now, I was struck that a former European commissioner went on television recently and sounded delighted that the Romanian government had just annulled an entire election. He warned that if things don't go to plan, the very same thing could happen in Germany too. Now, these cavaliers...
This is mind blowing that they have done this. Did you hear what he just said?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
And how they can interfere, you see? And that is not freedom.
Nah, exactly. No
statements
freedom.
are shocking to American ears. For years, we've been told that everything we fund and support is in the name of our shared democratic values. Everything from our Ukraine policy to digital censorship is billed as a defense of democracy. But when we see European courts canceling elections and senior officials threatening to cancel others, we ought to ask whether we're holding ourselves to an appropriately high standard. And I say ourselves because I fundamentally believe that we are on the same team. We must do more than talk about democratic values, we must live them. Now, within living memory of many of you in this room, the Cold War positioned defenders of democracy against much more tyrannical forces on this continent. And consider the side in that fight that censored dissidents, that closed churches, that canceled elections. Were they the good guys Certainly not. And thank God they lost the Cold War. They lost because they neither valued nor respected all of the extraordinary blessings of liberty. The freedom to surprise, to make mistakes, to invent, to build. As it turns out, you can't mandate innovation or creativity, just as you can't force people what to think, what to feel, or what to believe. And we believe.
You see, did you hear the last 3 points? I'll just run it again. Just listen carefully.
Yeah.
You can't force people what to think, what to feel, or what to believe. And we believe.
Yeah, exactly. Very important point. Oh my God. You force people what to think, what to say, and whatever he says. I mean, that's
And what to
absolutely right.
feel, and what to
What
feel,
to
because
feel.
he's on
Yeah,
point here.
he is really on point.
Because it's for me, the social media, like if you don't say and don't talk the way they want or how to feel, it's almost like they shut our mouth. Or I'm pretty sure you have experienced the same thing on social media, where if you didn't say, if you didn't think the way they wanted you, or other things, then they would remove your videos or remove your
Yeah.
words, right?
Yeah, and they have done with you, they have done with me, my videos. They have actually terminate with the channel, whole channel as well, because some people they spoken the truth. And you know what? It's not always the Muslim people who threat not to
Huh.
speak the truth. That's the thing is that's the important point as well. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you might be like you might agree with me because sometimes your own white people they actually force each other to
Yeah.
stop and don't talk, and that's why it gives the chance for the particular group community who actually can do whatever they want, and the other people who are like non-Muslims for
Hmm.
Korea, they actually are the ones who have to be patient, don't say anything politically correct. You have to be very careful, sensitive, the word, like, you have to respect and accept kind of all the pressure and all the restrictions on the non-Muslims, or whether you're white, whether you are whatever the color you are, but
Yeah.
non-Muslims, all the restrictions there. But for the Muslim communities, wherever there's no restrictions, they can say whatever they want. Their Quran says to kill non-Muslims. They can say, and they bow down 5 times a day because they have submitted. They know they agreed to the point, but nobody can point a finger on them. And
Absolutely.
that's called like a freedom of speech. Like I mean, freedom. Like it's called for them like a they have rights. They play victim all the time. So it's a very
Absolutely.
very very like a important point he raised. Like you have to stop, and you have to stop how to feel. I mean,
Exactly.
we have to. They want us to be in the box.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. And feel a specific way, like the government wants
yeah,
us. It's like you have to be in a specific way to please us and to be able to be on social media. And that is what I always, so many times, if you notice, I gave indirectly warning in the sense, to the specific group, who, that do not believe that you have a free hand right now to speak and to treat us this way. Like certain Muslims, maybe they don't want us to speak in a certain way because they feel threatened. What they don't understand is, like, if we are having restrictions today and you have this kind of freedom, tomorrow it can be you, the tables can turn on you. So we should always stand together. All of us should stand together when it comes to freedom of speech, to be able to give our own opinions. Talk without getting angry, talk without attacking, with talk, discuss topics without feeling so-called hurt, or saying, oh, you're a racist or you're this. Stop shutting discussions, start discussing to understand one another, so we really can live under so-called freedom of speech slash democracy. Because I don't personally feel, especially in Europe, that it really exists. So I'm really happy that what this JD Vance said here at this conference in Munich. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
let's see what more he has to say. This brilliant man.
Yes, exactly. You're true, true.
Those things are certainly connected. And unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War's winners. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police
Oh, Uzma, hateful content. Did you get it?
Can you play? Can you play a little? I wanna, each word he's making a very valid point.
Oh my
Can you
gosh.
can you
Hateful
please repeat?
content, he said. Yes.
Yeah.
have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Quran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder.
Yes. This thing
What
that
he
he
said
is.
about the hate speech.
Let me go and find it. Give me a sec.
He said something
And
about
as
the
the
hate.
judge in his case chillingly noted, activist for suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action.
Did you hear that?
Yes, yes, I heard that. I heard that. He's right.
So you see, yeah. So what I am very baffled about when it comes to this is we did make a video on this about this guy getting killed in Sweden for burning Qurans. Now let me make one thing crystal clear, and I'm pretty sure Uzma is with me on this. We are not fine with burning any books, whether it's a holy book for certain people, it's a book that written about Hitler, written about, I don't know, Stalin, Vedas, Christian books, any books. For me to rip them, eat them, burn them, insult them in any way, in the sense like you take physically and you want to insult it in any way, I'm not a fond of. I'm not I'm not going to take a flag. And anyone who says out there, by the way, anyone who says burning the Quran is fine, I would bet 100% that if somebody who is burning the Quran did the same with your holy book or any book that you love and insulted it in any way or just mocked it, made fun of it, you would and you will get hurt. You will react somehow, some way or another. You cannot sit there and say it will not. Even the burning of your flag hurts your feeling, dear public viewers. So you cannot sit here and say, well, we will not get hurt, we will not react, we will not do this. You will. So please do not lie. That is my humble opinion and words. So but it
There is
doesn't
one
justify.
India
But
ji.
I would just say that but it doesn't justify that somebody goes and kills somebody because they burned a book. You can go to a court, you can ask the judge, you can go to a court and say, I want some justification here. I need to sue this person because I want you to take any action towards this guy. To someone, anyone, to take the law in their own hand and to take a life that which they are not entitled to. Nobody is entitled to take anyone's life in any manner, regardless. Go to a judge. But here in this way, I feel like that was wrong. There are limits, there are ways to handle certain things. This was yes, it was wrong what he was doing. I agree. I have never been a fan of burning the Qurans or anything to the Quran. But to go and kill him instead of talking with him, why are you doing this? That was wrong. That was very, very wrong. Just to say, make a point here. So this guy, JD, he's saying that these things happen and nobody has done anything. There has been no reaction in the Muslim countries. I have, you showed that the fact that people were happy about that, certain Muslims, that, oh, he died, oh, very good, and this and that, kind of celebration. Very wrong, by the way. So what's your thought on it, Uzma, please?
No, you said it all. Like, I mean, that's really good because I am also the same like you. I condemn burning a Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, whatever the religious book, even the normal books also. Even some if somebody burned my recipe books, I will get hurt because no, seriously, because I am a book lover and you are so book lover too. Because, but the thing is, what I was actually noticed that those who burn the Quran, they are they don't have any other books. Maybe they are atheist. And the Sweden, the Christian guy, he was not a Christian. He born in a Christian family, but he left Christianity. He became atheist. And the thing is, like, that's why he was burning the Quran like that. But I don't know, there was another. I totally agree with you. We condemn this act. Even you tear the pages and eating, so many ex-Muslim become atheist and they started doing this one as well. And then we know, I know that we have condemned every time this act, and we were not a part of it. We don't want to be a part of it. We condemn that act totally, but also at the same time we condemn the idea of taking someone's life on that as well. Because
Absolutely.
book you can print out, book
Yeah,
religious book you can print out again, but you
exactly.
can't print out the another human being the same way it was before. You
Exactly.
can't give the life to the human being, and
I'm just
he's
going to run it
completely.
again. I'm just going to
Yes,
run it for a
yes,
second. Yes.
sure, yeah.
And as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own.
This is mind blowing. This one I remember, that there was this guy who was taken away by the police because he was standing and praying, but no Muslim who stands and prays on the streets in the West or in the Europe, nobody gets arrested there. That is mind blowing for me. I don't get it. Like, simply, I feel like it's a discrimination. I personally feel people should stand up and go and sue the state for that sake, my humble opinion. This is so bad. This is such discriminating, towards the people, the public. Seriously.
Exactly.
And after British law
That man
enforcement
was
spotted
just
him
praying.
and
Sorry?
No, just men, and there was a lady I saw. She was
Yeah.
just praying outside and simple, not talking to each other, not to anybody. She was just standing with the banner or just praying. That's all. She was not harming anybody. But the
Huh.
police came and then asked her to move from there. You can't pray. What is this? This is not the freedom of speech.
No. And
But
expression either.
The Muslim people, they block the road. They perform salah on the road street, and on the bus as well, on the on top of the car, and everywhere they just stand and then start praying.
Yeah.
So nobody's stopping them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see.
Yeah.
demanded to know what he was praying for. Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking The government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution.
Huh? Did you guys hear? Did you guys hear? Let me run it again. Listen carefully what happened to that guy. I mean, how many times when Muslims they pray, what about they? Oh my God.
Silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that this kind of pain that man had to go through? He did no harm. He did nothing but stand a couple of meters away and pray. Nothing else. Can you imagine our legal system, how it's working? Can you imagine the law, how it's running? And people are not even nervous about that it can hit another group of people as well. That if it is the West today, the West can do the same thing to another group. People don't get it. The risk is there. Let's see what more he says.
Say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law.
What? Usman, did you know that?
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. They have been, I think, Muslim people, wherever they go, they pay money to CNN. They pay money for everybody to buy their soul, And I think that what I am seeing the world is and in Europe as well, they have sold their soul to Muslim people.
Have you
That's
seen?
unbelievable.
Is there something you can hit up? It says let us. Oh my
This
God, I'm in
man
shock.
is the
That
silent
even private prayer.
Sorry.
I found one is like a silent prayer at abortion clinic to be banned in sweeping new UK law.
Okay,
September
keep this.
2024.
Yes, keep this
I
one.
sent you
Save
the
this
link.
one.
I sent you the link, and
Oh,
but
yeah. And secondly, the second, if you can find where he says this. Listen.
Within their own homes may. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters.
Okay, Scottish government in October 2024 distributing. Try to find this article as well.
To citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law.
How can you break the law when you are inside your own home? Oh my gosh, this is bad. This is bad. We will talk about it in a second, guys.
Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat. And in the interest of comedy, my friends, but also in the interest of truth, I will admit that sometimes the loudest voices for censorship have come not from within Europe, but from within my own country, where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory in China. Our own government encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth.
Take a moment to take this in. I agree so much with this, what Vance just said about social media censorship from US and the China and the coronavirus, all of this. And I will make a video on this later on. But he is so right here. That is my humble opinion. I personally agree with this guy so much that when I spoke so much about the coronavirus or this, COVID-19 or whatever, taking the jab and all, you have to do this, you have to do that, when publicly was, when public was saying, the governments were saying, and I was not big fan of it, and I was speaking out about it, and I was told don't do it, and Facebook was shutting me down. um, and people should always remember something. If the government is trying to shut a group of people, like let's say Christian people, or let's say some, just saying for the sake of discussing right now, talking, if the government is stopping spiritual people from something, remember tomorrow the Muslims can be told to do not do this and that. It starts very slowly. Everything starts with a seed, slowly, with one group of people. Then it goes to the next, and second, and third, and fourth. This is how it happens. It starts very, very little, and then they stop all of them. So one has to be careful who is getting what kind of so-called, in my point of view, punishment. Yeah,
So, India ji, I just last two links I sent you.
I will look
Okay,
into it.
about the Scotland.
Yes, we will see it, all of them.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you, Usma. Let's take the last, and then we will show you the other.
So I come here today not just with an observation, but with an offer. And just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration will do precisely the opposite. And I hope that we can work together on that. In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town. And under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
Amazing. And I will give you this link, guys, so you can watch it for yourself as well. I absolutely love the fact what he just said, that is what they are offering. Let me give it to you in the comment section, guys. This is the link. Okay. And yeah, let me open the links up here. New Scotland, which we just spoke about. Yes. Yes. Let me just show what he just said. I'm going to be sharing the screen here. Silent prayer at abortion clinics to be banned in sweeping New York law. Justice and peace, pro-life, religious freedom. Okay. This is written 20th September 2024 by Zenith News. The law extends to prevent any action that could be interpreted as attempting to dissuade someone from seeking an abortion, including distributing leaflets, offering support, or even engaging in conversations. So this is so-called buffer zones that you cannot, including prayer within the designated buffer zone. So they have to stay away. And it says thought crimes in the 21st of centuries. Can you imagine? Yes, Uzma, please.
It's ridiculous. There is another one also. I sent it to you. The last one is the same, like a praying home, maybe criminal offense in Scotland under the new law. The last one link.
Yes, I will. The one I just showed you people, this is the one I'm going to show on the screen as well, so people can follow up. So the reference are there. The references. It can be sometimes so slow. This is the one I just showed you, the Zenith organization. Okay. And then there is another one with Scotland that we just spoke about. Let me show you the warning that he set. Scotland's warning about praying at home. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? And yes, he was right about 16th of October 2024. All right. It says Scotland's new laws enforcing buffer zones around abortion clinics could criminalize anyone praying in homes within those zones. In homes, that means that even if you are in that area, clinics, that is how I understand. And if you are living nearby and you are praying and you are found guilty of it, you can actually get prosecuted. Could result in conducted home if these actions cause harassment, alarm, or distress to staff and patients. Acha. You see, residents in an Edinburgh buffer zone recently received letters warning them that activities in a private place, such as a house within the area between the protected premises and the boundary of a zone, could be an offense if they can be seen or heard within the zone and are done intentionally or recklessly. Less serious offenses could result in fines up to 20,000, yeah, their dollars. Scheiße. Oh
So
my
is
God.
this for only the Christian people or the Muslim as
Just,
well?
no, just Christian people, as I can see.
Oh my God.
You
See,
see, Andrea here, chief executive of Christian Concern Board. Her group would vigilantly monitor the application of buffer zone legislation across. Yeah, so it is the Christian. You see, as a Christian, I pray all the time. So it is for the Christians. I'm gonna give this a link out as well. It is bad. It's really bad, by the way.
that's so bad, you know. I mean, that's really not the freedom of speech. I mean, they actually want the way he says when, you know, they say like he said that they want to stop the feelings. They, you know, they
Yeah.
they just can't want to control everything
Yes.
and shut our mouth.
And I have this one last one, guys. You can also open this one. And then I want to show you guys something. Remember, yes, where did it go? Did I show this one? There it is. There is another one, guys. You can go and check. And then I would like to open one link. Give me a second.
I'm really shocked, India ji.
Yeah.
ये वाला जो भी sorry.
You just switched.
But this one, the last one, you know the praying at. I was thinking I'm just talking to in regular basis. I'm so sorry. About- I'm in my mind that I'm just talking, the way we talk in this. I'm really shocked because at home I mean, what's wrong in the home? Like, they can pray, they can do. And I know about the Christianity. I'm not a Christian, but I've been the Christian. I read the Bible. There are lots of things I don't agree what is said, but the thing is, it's not that like against humanity. Like, it they never said that if nobody is like a Christian, on then you go and then analyze them as compared to the Quran says. And it's, yeah, even though I don't agree so many things in the Bible as well, but it does not say like that the evil thing which is written in the in Quran about the humanity. There's no humanity in there. So how come they asking people not to pray in their home?
Exactly. I'm actually trying to find something here about um, the Jews, how pro I mean, can you let me see, in Europe there is something pro demonstration. So that is very interesting. I'm just going to show in just in general, so keep in mind. Let me see if I can open one. It's a very, very short, and it's remarkable how people, they fight, by the way, how they fight. It is I'm just gonna show you a very, very small one. Let me see. It's very sad, to be honest. My heart goes out both parties, because human life matter to me, and it's crazy how people are fighting. And you know what is so shocking for me, and we're talking about freedom of speech and hate, all of this that people talk about, that this is hate speech, this is not expression of this and that, and this is hate content, and I don't know what, but this is not fair. And what people are doing, they are clashing with one another, these amazing people, kind people, but I personally feel the politicians make these people fight, religions make these people fight among one another, because if they didn't have this label of this ethnic or religious brand on them, I think they would never fight like that. They could have disagreements, but to be able to have politicians, their leaders, and not find any solution and let the people fight among one another and take each other's lives is bad. So just a side point I would like to show. And definitely I personally don't feel there is freedom of speech. There is no freedom in Europe or in the West to be able to share their expression. Like the guy who was sharing his opinion about the Quran, burning it, he got unalived, So I'm just going to show, and then Uzma, do give your opinion on that.
Just let you know. Oh yeah.
Yes, Uzma.
There is a news is coming just recently.
Oh, wait with it.
Yeah.
Write it in the private. Write it to me in the private.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes. This is pro-Palestine protesters. And there was a football match between Israel and France. I believe it was in England. So watch it carefully. This is from Al Jazeera, by the way. This is Al Jazeera, you can see up here, okay? The gala, which is believed to have taken place in a secret location on Wednesday. You see? So a group of people, supporters of Palestine, unfortunately, I believe they attacked these football players or the gamers, Israel, and I'm not saying the French people, but the Israelis, I believe. This is how I understand it. Let's see. We'll watch it again, so watch it carefully.
C'était prévu d'accueillir le ministre Smotrich qui a tenu des propos très très graves génocidaires, et du coup on est là pour demander l'annulation de ce gala ainsi que l'annulation du match France-Israël.
So they are here and she used the word genocide, and we will talk about what genocide is in the next coming videos, guys, okay? So she's here, like with the others, she said, for the France-Israel football match to be cancelled. Okay, I'm going to run this again, so watch it carefully again.
Qui va se tenir demain, et un cessez-le-feu et l'arrêt du génocide en cours.
Thousands of extra police officers are being deployed in Paris ahead of this match.
Le match de la honte, c'est le match de la honte. C'est pas le match France-Israël, c'est le match de la honte pour nous. Vous vous rendez compte qu'on fait venir une équipe qui vient des territoires qui actuellement commettent un crime contre l'humanité.
Okay, he says that he's indicating that to Israel or to these people that it's a crime against humanity. Listen to this guy. A crime against humanity, a genocide. This is what he's saying. He doesn't know what the Muslims would do according to their Quranic law, Sharia law. He doesn't understand. We're going to make a video on exactly what this guy just said. Exactly what he just said. And we're going to prove it to you from the Quranic verses and the Sharia law and the hadiths and the scholars. We're going to make a video just specifically on his words very soon. And Uzma, I would like your opinion on it when the video is done. This one.
Un génocide, un crime de masse, une épuration ethnique.
This is what happened. Let me run it a little bit again and take it in. My point with this is, where is the freedom of expression? Where is the freedom of living their lives? Where is the freedom of doing what they want? How come the pro-Palestine, when they do the demonstration, nobody attacks them? But how come they are being attacked for playing a game? They are not politicians who are here to play, or who were there to play the football game. They were not politicians. They were just players. Why were they attacked? Where was their freedom of speech or expression or living a life?
C'était prévu d'accueillir le ministre Smotrich qui a tenu des propos très très graves génocidaires. Et du coup, on est là pour demander l'annulation de ce gala, ainsi que l'annulation du match France-Israël qui va se tenir demain, et un cessez-le-feu et l'arrêt du génocide en cours.
Le match de la honte, c'est le match de la honte.
It's the match of shame, the match of shame. Now, it has nothing to do with this, in my point of view. The game has nothing to do with shame or a match of shame. But what comes after what he says is very interesting.
C'est pas le match France-Israël, c'est le match de la honte pour nous. Vous vous rendez compte qu'on fait venir une équipe qui vient des territoires qui actuellement commettent un crime contre l'humanité, un génocide, un crime de masse, une épuration ethnique.
So this guy, he has been very interesting. Uzma, what is your point on that?
I mean, we know everything what they say and from which doctrine and book they say. Who brainwashed them? We already know, and we have been been discussing this for and telling people for many years, many times. This all hatred is coming from their doctrine, hate for the Jewish, not only the Jewish, but also every non-Muslims. As you said, that there is nothing to do with the game. It's just a game. They're playing the game. They didn't do anything. They didn't burn the Quran. They didn't say anything. They didn't swear. So why they're doing this to them? It's because the hatred, it's in them. The book, the doctrine, they read it, their psyche become like that. So they are become like evil, nasty people who should not be walking around on this earth like that. They should be abandoned from the complete civilization. They must they must be removed from the society and an isolated place, or send them to Gaza or maybe Jordan. somewhere. This is not the place for them to live. They're full of hatred. And I sent you something in the private. You can please check.
Yeah, I was just letting you finish, and I'm looking into it. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. Like we should do the separate video on that. And yeah, I don't. We know everything. We've been talking about it. But the thing is, same thing. We're talking about the freedom of speech. As JD Vance said that and I hope, I am so glad that Trump is a president now, and he's allowing people to have talk freely, not restricted them not to speak. So hopefully I will see the change, slow, but hopefully. I'm positive. What do you think about it? I'm hoping that there will be a change.
Oh yes. In regards to what the Biden administration
Yeah.
did, they did diddly squat. I mean, they were a catastrophe. I don't know what people thought about them. There have been so much chaos, and one of the things I will cover is the COVID-19 case. What happened? How, in my point of view, they forced the people. And when people say, "Well, no, they didn't force. It was freedom of blah blah blah," no. Even Biden has, I don't want to divert from the conversation, but I would say that as far as I know, Biden has done something in the sense that people cannot sue Pfizer. So we will talk about it, what it means, because I have not been pro COVID-19. And I did speak about it. And that is exactly why I'm saying this. As I have not been pro of COVID-19, I spoke about it even as a political activist, and I was being told not to speak about it. And I was like, well, I have freedom of speech. Do not shut me, you know, don't say what not to say and say when I'm in my limits. I mean, I am doing, no fake news. I mean, I'm no fake news in the sense I was giving references from the doctors. There were many doctors saying, that about the COVID, this and that, like me, like I was being not pro for that, right? I had references, but still Facebook was reacting and many people were being negative. So I've really felt at that time, at the time of COVID, that there was really no freedom of expression. There was no freedom of speech on social media whatsoever. And the fact that Trump's administration, what they did is for their military, I believe, let me find that. There were some military people who was thrown out. They left the military because they didn't take the jab. They didn't take the injection. And the Trump administration took them back. So let me find it. The COVID-19 back. Like I'll show you, just so people know. Let me see. Let me just show you because I like my references to be shown. I don't like when people can't see what I'm talking about. So, and Uzma, your opinion on it at the end, I would really like when I've shown this. So, this is CNN Politics, and it's from October 2nd, 2023. Only 43 of more than 8,000 discharged from US military for refusing COVID vaccine have rejoined. Okay? So 8,000 US service members who were discharged from the military for refusing to be vaccinated have sought to rejoin 8 months after the vaccine mandate was officially repealed, according to the data provided by the military branches. So where is the freedom here? Freedom of speech, or freedom of expression, or freedom of living or taking, because it's up to the people whether they should take it or not, right? It should be. So that is one thing. And let me find another. Let me find something else as well. and fact sheet. Then I'll show you with what Donald Trump, like I said before, what he has done. I find it to be really nice. Um, there it is. Okay. And I'm going to share the reference on the screen as well. So, fact sheet. President Donald J. Trump reinstates service members discharged for refusing the COVID vaccine. January 27, 2025. Reinstating the unjustly discharged. Today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order to reinstate service members who were dismissed for refusing the COVID vaccine with full back pay and benefits. Amazing. Correcting an injustice. In spite of scientific evidence, the Biden administration discharged healthy service members, many of whom had natural immunity and dedicated their entire lives to serving our country, for refusing the COVID vaccine. Government redress of these wrongful dismissals is overdue. From 2021 to 2023, the Biden administration and former Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin discharged over 8,000 troops solely due to their COVID-19 vaccination status. Can you imagine? So this is something I'm also going to talk more about later in my other videos. But you can see that President Donald Trump's administration is in a completely different perspective and area of these thoughts of freedom of speech and expression and living. So for that, I'm really, really excited for what his vice president also said at the Munich conference. So it's very exciting time. We're going into what is your thought on all of this that I just shared, Usman, please.
Yes, I totally agree with you what you said. And with the COVID vaccination, I know lots of people who did not work in a health department. They can actually get away from the COVID, and I feel they're so lucky and they're so blessed, because I actually by myself, lots of patients and the family came to me, and then they said that after the COVID vaccinations, they are not the same. Their health is not the same. They get different symptoms of cramping, headache, so many irregularity on, like, I mean, muscular pain, and so many other complications. And also, the whole, they never used the puffer for asthma, but now they're using it even after the COVID vaccination. So I mean, and then the thing is, those who work in a health industry, they know that they have been said, or okay, it's up to you if you don't want to get the COVID vaccination, but you won't get any shifts. So I mean, they threaten, they blackmail. Of
Exactly.
course, people have to pay their bills, their the rent, mortgage, of course, and then they have kids, their school fees and everything. So they are like, they're bound to take the COVID vaccination. They didn't have any choice. But the health department say, oh no, we gave you a choice, you don't have to, it's not mandatory, but if you don't, then we don't gonna you're not gonna get the shift. I mean, if there is no shift, how
There's
are
no
they
money.
gonna get a job? So that's how they play the game, and that should be raised. Actually, that should be raised. That's not the good thing, because still now, including myself and so many people who already had a vaccination, I can tell the health is not the same the way it was before.
And there is
It's
no, this so-called freedom. There was no freedom to
no
choose.
freedom. no freedom. So pharmaceutical company, the industry, like that. I mean, I'm not totally against, like, not everything is bad, but they do save lives. But in regards to the COVID, that when they put the restrictions, that was totally controlled, and very, like, there was no choice, there was no freedom of choice. People were scared how they're gonna get paid, how they're gonna get the pay their rent and mortgage and school fees for kids, for medications, like that. So they didn't have any choice other than get the vaccinations. So
Yes.
that's not right.
Thank you, Uzma. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone watching this live. Remember to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Do give your comments below. And yes, and I will be back very soon again. So yeah, this topic was very necessary to cover, I personally feel, because it has to do with our freedom to live the way we want to, in a respectful way, of course, without harming anyone else, and being able to speak from our heart without any limitations, within, of course, with a respectful way, the way we should always be, in a way that we want others to treat us. Still, I would say what you feel, but think about, if you want other people to be limited, do you want to be limited as well? If other people should live in a limited way, do you want to be limited as well? So keep these things in mind, how you want to be treated, before you try to treat another person by taking their rights away in any way, whether it's their freedom of religion, freedom of anything in their life. So before you try to control them, ask yourself, do you want to be controlled the same way you are trying to control? If you are thinking about enforcing somebody, their your own religion on them, do you want to be enforced the same way? So keep all of these things in your head, and then react. So that is my humble opinion. And thank you so much, Uzma, for being here. Thank you so much, my dear viewers, for watching. Remember to hit the like button and have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you so much. Love you so much, and peace to everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.